Blueberry repaired, new carport days away. I'm fixing lots of things and I'm adding something else to be fixed. I only have 3 project bikes, just a part or 2 away from being finished, so why not throw this in there, possibly even get it done first? Confused? Well, let's go back a few years, back to Hyper's E-Ride mountain bike series, specifically the Hyper E-Ride Mountain 26er. I'll link the review to that bike down in the description. The good old days, back when the bike bubble was still inflating. This, of course, is an e-bike. I've yet to find an e-bike that wasn't fun to ride. Now, calling them mountain, well, that could give the wrong expectations unless someone maybe watches my videos. I always give you a good look at what you can expect from a bike before you plunk down money on it. I always try to share everything with you. I don't do pre-scripted reviews, nothing like that. I give you honest opinions based on experience. And somewhere over the past few years with this bike, my experience led me to upgrade things. Basic stuff, low dollar upgrades, trying to make big changes with just a few bucks, easy on an e-bike, because as I said, they start out fun, but I can make this more mountain bikey by adding a WTB tire, which I did. I replaced the rim brakes as well. It looks like I started a disc brake upgrade. I have a Schwinn rotor there, but I still have the factory rim brakes hooked up, and I don't see a caliper back there. So maybe I was still working on this after that original upgrade video, and started working on brakes, and then ended up parking it. I do remember putting these on it. Race face testers. It's pretty funny. I'll use Fukers on a $1,000 bike. On this, I used legit race face testers, still spinning like they're new. They look like, well, I think I'll call these tetanus pedals. There's a lot of rust there because I left this sitting outside shamefully since last summer. Now, I did cover up this battery compartment, at least until a few months ago when I put a battery in it and tried to power it up. It's been sitting exposed since then, and that's why it has spring woolly worms in it. The battery, though, that's been kept inside in rotation, so no worries there. Here's something I learned today. If you say mix super fast, it sounds like you're saying mix super. Budget bars, but this finish has aged well, and I think looks decently good on the bike, especially if you're maybe partially colorblind, then it better matches the factory trim color. Whenever I'm upgrading these Hyper bikes, there's usually a factory part that makes the cut. The Nico headset, Neko, however you say it, good stuff. Hyper uses this brand on just about all their bikes, and often there's sealed bearings hiding in there. Looks like I went ultra budget with this stem Taysor, however you say that. I don't remember this brand, but other than some surface rust, nothing to worry with. I wonder if they're still available. This fork, a staple of the channel. This goes way back to the original aluminum comp, or at least the one I covered. That was the first one I was aware of, and I looked up the old original video on that, and you know it was old when it launched at $198. Back when my $50 upgrades were centered around a mega range freewheel. Remember those days? We did what we could and we made some usable stuff, but I ended up taking that upgrade to stage 2 where I used the RockShox fork. Such a difference on the trail. That's what really opened up any of these budget bikes back in the day, so a good fork to roll over to this one. If I remember properly, this was the RockShox RS30, maybe the silver. Did have a lockout, but no air fanciness. These are coil forks. Bulletproof. 27.5 though, so I mulleted this bike, and what I did with that front wheel, no clue. Another product rediscovery, Corky. I forgot about this brand. This is what I call the death trap configuration when I don't have an end cap on them. I need to buy more Corky because it's good stuff. It's budget priced, but it doesn't look budget. I mean, look at this. Looks like a high dollar grip, and surprisingly, after all this time sitting outside, something that really wears down grips, these feel somehow even better. Good products that age well. Corky's getting a thumbs up. And my eye darts over to that brake lever because I do remember this fork allowing me to go with the disc brake up front. But of course, that was possible because I brought that 27.5 wheel. Whatever wheel it was that I used, no problem, I can find another, but I really only upgraded what was essential at the time. For instance, I kept the factory saddle. Now, I usually do whenever there are snafu saddles, which always come on the Hyper bikes. Snafu. S-N-A-F-U. In the world of budget saddles, these are probably king and deliver a message. Which is a message I'll shift to for just a moment because my eyes got distracted. I noticed some bands I'd accidentally left outside. This is not a sponsored segue. This is stuff I buy myself. I use regularly, so I thought I would share it with you because it really helps with biking. Specifically with avoiding mosquitoes while riding, and I'm in the South. Mosquito is practically the state bird in Alabama, and whenever you've seen me riding for the past couple of years, you can see them on my arms there. I have one on each wrist and one on each ankle. I ride Wildwood. There's a lot of water at Wildwood. Mosquitoes love water, and they unfortunately love me, so I use these, and they seem to help. I'll link down to them in the description. That does help the channel. It's an affiliate link, but this is a product. I buy mini boxes through the summer months One box will last me about a month. My cheat is to open them, use them for say an hour or so, and then I seal them in a Ziploc bag because they last for quite a few hours. That maximizes use per dollar, much like I maximized the dollar by reusing what I could on this bike when I upgraded, no matter how messy that did look. What in the world was going on there? I don't know, but I do know I have two problems insofar as getting this bike going again. One, I have no idea where the key is, so once the battery's in, it is there to stay, and I can't put the battery in until I replace this 810 controller. Sitting out in the weather, well, apparently these are not waterproof. Some of the buttons are sticking and popping, and you can see on that cover where the water, it looks like it's pushed away where the water is actually running in somewhere and out the bottom. The good news is these are plentiful and cheap, but I have to get to the speed controller, which is in that battery compartment, before I can permanently mount the battery, because there is a 3-pin version of this and a 4-pin. I need to know which goes in there to the speed controller. So 2 problems, not a super big deal. The key, I mean, who cares? Once the battery is in there, it's in there. It's the last battery I have for the Hyper E-Ride series, so I can make that work. The controller, they're about $15 the last time I looked. I just need to know which one to order, which again, easy to find and just a few days away with shipping. Oh wait, there is a third problem. I just noticed this. There is no derailleur hanging down here, so I'm going to need to put one on the bike. I have plenty of derailleurs, and looking up at this freewheel, looks like I used a Pro Rush freewheel. I'm pretty sure I still have an 8-speed Pro Rush derailleur and shifter, so maybe I need to go through storage, get that out, and Pro Rush this thing, at least till it breaks, which those are known to do. Just the derailleur, the freewheels, those Pro Rush freewheels are actually really good. So in theory, not a lot to get this going again. My Mix Super, Hyper Mix Super, moved in front of project builds because I want to get this together as a loaner bike. I've ridden by myself all year on the trails, and I'm ready to get back to some trail camaraderie. E-bikes tend to make that happen easier, plus it's something I can do on the cheap, much like my repairs that I've been doing on the cheap. I've been the master of making it cheap. I repaired this for $60. Tree damaged my driveway, and that was going to affect me being able to get the new carport put in place. A real carport this time. That's coming Wednesday, and if you follow my Kev Reviews channel, you'll get all the details on that at Kev Reviews. It's a good channel if you're into, say, home improvement stuff. Riding lawnmowers. This is a 6-year-old riding lawnmower. I have a playlist full where I show you how I keep that looking and running like new, and soon you'll get to hear me rant about the electric push mower. Lots of lawn and garden there, household stuff, some Atari retro gaming mixed in. And if you've been around KevCentral since the beginning, you might even remember these gas cans or this generator, now seen on Kev Reviews, including me destroying that generator. So check out that channel if you like home stuff, household repairs, or you can stay here at KevCentral for the bike content. Also, don't forget to comment below, would you fix this? Do you remember this bike? Thanks for watching, and have a great day.